A blessed day, everyone, and welcome back to our discussion of our Grade 9 Arts. Today, we'll be discussing about the art elements and principles of sculpture in Western and Classical period. This is week 3 and 5 of our first quarter. So let's start with our introduction. This lesson was designed and written with you in mind. It is here to help you master the elements and principle of art style in the Western and Classical arts. The scope of this module permits it to be used in many different learning situations. The language used recognizes the diverse vocabulary level of students. The lessons are arranged to follow the standard sequence of the course. As a start, we will be having an activity named Twist and Double Match. Here is what you have to do. Arrange and jumbled letters in column A to form the period that they belong, then connect them to the statement in column B and to their pictures in column C. So this is what we will be answering. We have column A, column B, and column C. Now let's see the answers. For number 1, in column A, it is all about Greek. In column B, the discus thrower, an ancient Greek statue, and this is the picture. And this is for our number 2. In column A, we have Egypt. Letter D, a grown woman with a harmonic and balanced beauty on letter B. And in column C, we have this picture. And for our number 3, we have for column A, we have Romanesque. For column B, letter A, this is the center portrayed as powerful, ideal, and balanced. And for column C, this is how it looks like. And for our number 4, column A, we have prehistoric. For column B, she symbolized a goddess of fertility, and this is how it looks like. And for our last number 5, it's Byzantine on column A, the military victory of an emperor with the victory of Christianity on column B, and here is the picture in column C. We'll now have our discussion with the ancient era featuring prehistoric period and Egyptian period. Let's start first with the prehistoric period. For our featured art, we have Venus of Willendorf, or the Venus figurine, dated to 28,000 to 25,000 BCE. Here's how the sculpture looks like. And for the mood, it is an intimate, sentimental, meaningful, totem-like, passed through generation. For the idea and message, there are a few ideas about what this figurine was. The first is that she symbolized a goddess of fertility with her enlarged genitals, just like her boobs. And the red oryx symbolized the living, the life-giving menstrual blood. The second idea is that she served as a good luck charm. And now, here's a summary of the sculpture Venus of Willendorf in terms of characteristic, elements, and principle of arts. It serves as a goddess of luck charm. And for the form, it's a three-dimensional in form. And for balance, it is not balanced in shape, just like, as mentioned a while ago, her upper body is larger than her lower part. Let us now proceed to the Egyptian period. For our featured art in this period, it's none other than Queen Nefertiti, who was a queen of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten. Here is how the sculpture looks like. For the mood, the Nefertiti of the infamous sculpture dons her signature cap's crown, an extravagant royal blue headdress with a golden diadem band and elaborated signs, which suggest a power embellished by an elegant aesthetic. Beneath it, her face, symmetrical, poised, and objective in its beauty, is a reminder of the allure that has made the bust of Nefertiti one of the world's most enduring artwork. For the message and idea, She is shown as a grown woman with a harmonic and balanced beauty, which is not disturbed by a slight fold under the eyes and chin, as well as the slightly sunk cheek. Here's the summary of the characteristic elements and principles for our sculpture, Queen Nefertiti. Shown as a grown woman, the three-dimensional in form and with harmonic and balance and symmetry. And now, let's go to the classical era featuring Greek and Roman period. Starting with our Greek period. For our featured artwork, we have the Scobulus, a discus thrower, an ancient Greek statue made by Myron on classical period of the 5th century. And here, how the Scobulus looks like. For the mood, the Discobolus is involved in a demanding situation. His face and body are unusually relaxed and composed. His head is turned toward his sporting equipment, but in some restorations, he is wrongly looking ahead. For the idea and message, it shows an athlete, naked, refined, and eternally youthful, seemingly captured in the moment before releasing the discus. In fact, limb and torso are artificially arranged to correspond with Greek ideas of balance and rhythm in a composition which is pleasing from one viewpoint only. Over the centuries, notes Dr. Ian Jenkins, the many sides of Myron's Discobolus on June 2012, the British Museum, a curator at the British Museum and expert in ancient Greek sculpture, says the statue has acquired many meaning. Let's now see the summary of the characteristic elements and principles of the Scobulus. It is an ancient Greek statue of an athlete. The texture is refined and smooth, and it shows movement of throwing a discus. Again, that was the Scobulus. Let's now have our next period, which is the Roman period. And for our featured art during Roman period, we have Portanacio's sarcophagus of 180 to 190 BCE. Here is how it looks like. For the mode, most of the Roman sculptures like this are made of monumental terracotta. They did not attempt to compete with the freestanding Greek works of history of mythology, but rather they produced relief in the great Roman triumphal columns with continuous narrative relief around. And for the message of this sculpture, the composition focuses on the progress of a Roman horseman depicted in the guise of universal victor in a melee of soldiers, spears, and horses. It is used for a burial of a Roman general involved in the campaign of Marcus Aurelius. It is a carved marble that depicts the battle between Romans and the Germans. And here's the summary of Portanacio's sarcophagus. A carved marble that depicts the battle between Roman and Germans. And for the space, the area between the characters are so close. And for the principle, unity shows feeling that everything works together. Let's now proceed to the medieval era featuring the Byzantine, the Romanesque, and the Gothic period. Byzantine period. For our featured art, we have Barberini diptych, which represents the emperor as the triumphed victor. For the mood, the ivory shown here depicts a triumphant emperor given to Cardinal Barberini by Nicolas Claude Fabry de Pierre in early 17th century. The Barberini ivory must already have been in Provence by the 7th century. On the back is a list of barbarian kings and officials of the regions. As art historian Ernst Kitzinger wrote, Christ makes his appearance in the heaven at the moment in which the emperor stages his triumphal adventus on earth. It is a graphic depiction of the harmony between heavenly and earthly rule. For the idea and the message of the artwork was also innovative as it combined the military victory of the emperor with the victory of Christianity, employing two angels carrying an image of Christ rather than the Roman era's use of a pair of winged victories. And here's the summary of our Barberini diptych, a sculpture that represents the emperor as a triumphal victor. For the element, we have the shape. It is flat and has two dimensions in a shape. For the principle, weave is focusing on the emphasis. The sculpture gives emphasis on the victorious emperor. Romanesque period. And our featured artwork during this period is none other than The Last Judgment at 1120 to 35 by Dislebertus. Here is how the sculpture looks like. A semicircular space above the main entrance of a church. As a result, everyone would see it whenever they came to the church service. That was the Last Judgment's sculpture. For the idea and the message it sends is clear and tellingly harsh. We see Jesus at the center portrayed as powerful, ideal, and balanced. On the left, we see angels helping to push lucky souls up into heaven, looking elongated and otherworldly. Here is the summary of the Last Judgment. It is from Romanesque period that serves as a religious purpose. For the shape, it is semicircular above the main entrance. And for the principle, we is still focusing in the emphasis. Jesus was given emphasis in this artwork. For our last period, we have the Gothic period. And our last featured art is the Death of the Virgin, tympanum of the south transept portal in a Strabane Cathedral, 1220. Here is how it looks like. For the mood, Mary reclining in the bed surrounded by apostles who grieved, prayed, and in the late medieval art performed the rite for the dying. And as the message, in this image, Jesus either stands at the side or hovers above it and holds Mary's soul in the form of a young child. This scene reflects the belief that Mary was the mother of Jesus, the incarnate Son of God, and therefore enjoyed the privilege of a special holy death. And here is the summary of our Death of the Virgin sculpture. Characteristic, a religious sculpture showing Mary and the apostles. For the element, we have space. The negative space at the back shows illusion of depthness. And for the principle, we have the pattern. If you notice, the repetitive pattern around the sculpture, it is more on floral with vines. So that is the Death of the Virgin. And that's end our discussion for today. And for our learning task, you are going to identify the characteristics and elements and principles that would best describe the different sculptures on each eras by using the table below. This will be very easy for you because it was discussed and presented in our previous discussion. So that's all for today for our Grade 9 Arts presenting the art elements and principles of sculptures in the Western and Classical period, which is part of our week 3 and 5 of our first quarter. I hope you'll learn a lot for today, and I'll see you again, guys, on our last art lecture where we will be discussing the architectural structures during the Western and Classical period, which is still part of our module and will be the end of the first quarter as the week 6 up to 8 of our grade 9 arts. Don't forget to subscribe to be updated with our videos that will help you to answer all your learning tasks in MAPE. And for our 4,000 subscribers and growing, God bless you all. And don't forget to share, like this channel so that we'll be motivated to make more videos just like this one. So I hope you learned something a lot for today. This has been Ina's Creation. And God bless you and bye bye.